Hello, my name is Matthew Celia. I'm the co-founder of Lightsail VR and the creator of an app called VR.NDI. We recently just announced an untethered version of this application that's available for purchase on the MetaQuest store. This is super exciting. We've been using this app internally at Lightsail VR for the last year or so, and it's really made a big difference in how we create content. Before, we had VR.NDI and it required a PC to plug your headset into and use in Quest Link mode. That is no longer the case. So with this Quest native version of the app, finally Mac users can get real live VR previews in their headset. We also use it on set to deploy multiple headsets, all watching content from a live camera feed at once. And we use it extensively in our color grading process. It's pretty exciting. I'm very happy about the release. And today what I would like to do is take you through how to set it up and how to configure it, which won't take that long because it's actually a fairly simple application by design. We want to make sure that it's easy for you to get your media into a headset to start creating better content. So with that being said, let's dive in. I've got DaVinci Resolve set up here with a project that is currently in side-by-side VR 180 format. And if you're working in DaVinci Resolve, one of the important things is that it doesn't have native NDI out, which is kind of a bummer. But there's a great plugin called Nobe Display. So we're just going to go to our timeline node on our color page. We're going to click this and type in Nobe, and we can just pop it right in here. Now I'll go ahead and hook this up. And what Nobe Display does is it gives an NDI output to your timeline. If you're using Final Cut 10, or you're using Adobe Premiere, the good news is there's NDI options for both of those NLEs available for free. But here, we'll be using this. Now, a couple of things before I finish configuring Nobe Display is we want to actually go to our project settings here, and we want to make sure that we are at the correct timeline resolution. Even if you are working in 8K resolution, as we all are, when you're doing your grade or you're doing your edit, it may be helpful to put this as 4096 by 2048. And the reason I say that is that processing 4K video on the Quest natively is pretty stressful for the GPU on board. So you'll notice if you go to higher resolutions, a little bit of frame lag. It still should work, however. So if you're doing color correction and you really want that fine detail, you can, of course, pop in 8192 by 4096, just as I am doing here, and that should look pretty darn good. But for today's purposes, we'll do 4096 by 2048, a little 4K resolution, 2:1, as most VR aspect ratios are, and click Save. So that looks really good. And here is our piece that we have ready. And, primarily what I really want to do is I want to put some titles into this, and because it's stereo, I can't really do that without being in a headset. It's a perfect use case for using VR.NDI. We're going to go ahead and click Open Display here, and this will open up the Nobe Display application. If I just scrub the timeline here a little bit and I click back over to the application, I should see an image right here. And that means that I'm successfully getting an NDI signal. So with that being said, I'm now going to go back onto my headset and launch VR.NDI. So let's go ahead and do that now. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to launch VR.NDI. And now what I'm going to do is I'm presented with this dialog. There's a little square here, and if you click on it, you'll see that I have pass-through enabled. There's my camera. There's my live preview feed. You're getting a little preview into my desk setup. And then you can just toggle that off by clicking so on and so forth. I'll go ahead and hit refresh here. And because I'm connected to the network, there's actually at Lightsail quite a few connections going on here in NDI. We're going to choose LSVR Blade 16. That's the name of my computer. And it's using Nobe Display, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and tap that. And instantly the video shows up. Now you notice that it defaults to 360. 2D, we want to change that. So we'll click on the gear icon right here, and we'll change our projection mode to 183D. Now, notice when I click on this gear icon that I actually have support for 2D, 3D, 180 2D, 360 2D, 180 3D, and 360 3D. 360 3D is a top-bottom projection. 180 3D is a left-right in terms of your stereo layout. And 3D here is also a left-right. So something that's kind of fun that we'll do right now is I'll click on 3D, and that actually puts this window in a windowed interface. So I'll go ahead and click on this X button. You can also use this hand here to toggle that on and off by pinching the menu button. And you can actually grab this window and move it somewhere. This window supports 2 aspect ratios. It supports 1:1, which is what I'm in right now. Also supports 16:9. Not the correct one, but if you are editing spatial video, for example, this could be incredibly helpful. Let me go ahead and switch this back to the correct projection, 180 3D. So this is looking really nice, and definitely the way that I like to work. So I'll go close that. But you know, when you're in this mode, if you're operating as a solo person, this is very difficult for you to be able to see what's going on. So it's a cool new feature I've built into VR.NDI, and it actually leverages one of the new meta features in the latest operating system, which is remote desktop. So I'll go ahead and click on my meta button here, which pulls up this menu that you can see. And this allows me to actually click on remote desktop and choose a different computer. So I'm going to choose my Blade 16, and that's going to start to think about setting up what that is. Give that a second. I've got a few monitors connected. And we'll just go ahead and minimize that. And I will click over here. Boom, boom, boom. Back onto DaVinci Resolve. You can actually see me right there. That's the feed from my camera. So we're going to go over to Resolve here, make that full screen, let it kind of take a moment to rejigger it. And then I can actually take this window and dock it down here, just like that. So what's cool is I'm able to, let me just go ahead and make sure that that is, yep, that's full here. I can now scrub my timeline just like this. And I can see everything I'm doing on my computer, but also when I look up, I can see in perfect 180-degree 3D stereo my scene. And this makes it easy to work and add stuff, or, you know, pop over here, adjust some color settings. Maybe I want to, like, you know, make this really blue. So I make it really blue. I mean, these are bad color corrections, but you get the idea. This is an extremely powerful tool, and we've had a lot of fun working on it. All right, I hope you really enjoyed that demo of VR.NDI. As I said, there's not much to it. In the coming days and weeks, I'll be available. You can hit me up for support, comment down below. Let me know what you think. The app is actively being developed, and your feedback is what makes it work. So looking forward to hearing your thoughts, and I hope that this helps you sincerely with your work making great immersive content. Thanks. Talk soon.